Public or private, that's the question. How can we serve our community best with a public airport? We thought we'd let you hear it straight from the people who know the airport and the industry best. I'm here with Jerry Morgan from Oak Harbor, America.
My name is Chris Taylor. I'm the owner and operator of Link Air.
Hello, my name is Mike Watkins. I'm owner of Wings Over Whidbey. I'm a flight instructor.
I'm here with Shane Hoffmeyer from the Oak Harbor City Council. Hello, Shane.
How are
Thanks
you?
for coming in. I'm here with Todd Banks from Kenmore Air.
Hello, Joe.
I'm Eric Johnson. I'm the acting director of the Washington State Department of Transportation Aviation Division.
And I'm John Mashazik, a District 2 Port Commissioner for the Port of Cookeville.
But first, a quick history. In 1942, the U.S. Navy improved the field as part of its efforts during World War II to train naval aviators and to use it as a base for anti-submarine patrols. After the war, the Navy decommissioned the field, and it was eventually turned over to the city of Oak Harbor in the 1960s. In the early 1970s, local pilot Wes Lupien began working with the city to develop the airfield into a general aviation airport. With the help of local volunteers, Lupien built a runway, taxiway, and a small terminal building. And in 1977, the airport was officially named the Wes Lupien Airport in recognition of his contributions.
But no, there wasn't much here at all. It was very quiet, and very low-key, but amazingly, we had an airport.
Wow.
And it was busy all the time.
Really?
People were coming and going at all day long, and even the military used it a lot.
Right.
The corporations like Wells Fargo would have their employees fly to Seattle for their meetings. And a lot of people just flew on the airport not to go anywhere. They just thought it was worth to pay for a scenic flight.
Right.
Because it's so beautiful from the air.
Over the years, the airport has continued to grow and improve. In 1990, a new terminal building was constructed. And in 2006, the runway was extended to its current length of nearly 3,000 feet.
But Kenmore's been in business for 76 years.
76 years.
Yeah.
And you guys used to fly out of Oak Harbor.
We did, yeah. And most people know us for a seaplane business, but in 2005 we started a wheelplane-based scheduled airline. And we started out of Port Angeles, but a key part of that strategy was also to start operations out of Oak Harbor.
The research I did took me back to the days of Harbor Air, where Harbor Air was flying 17,000 passengers a year.
We went into Oak Harbor based off of the enplanements that Harbor Air had back in the 90s, and we were pretty surprised to see how many people that the Harbor Air moved.
When we were flying out of here, I did hundreds of people. We did probably 5-6 trips a week to SeaTac from here.
Right.
It's certainly not that kind of volume.
Right.
But the research I did took me back to the days of Harbor Air, where Harbor Air was flying 17,000 passengers a year.
Wow.
And they had more operations than Oak Harbor, but it was the Oak Harbor to SeaTac route that was the bread and butter of the route.
Kenmore Air spoke to being able to do 4 flights a day. Is what they felt their market was here.
Certainly.
So as a Navy veteran, I learned to fly at the Navy Flying Club when it existed. And abruptly, it went away. And there was no place for the current students to fly. They went other places. They went off island.
You know, concerning the viability of the airport for commercial travel, Harbor Air flew 17,000 passengers a year when they were operating. And that's when the island was half the population it is now.
Right.
People say it's not viable because Kenmore left, because I left. That's not true. We left because of this airport.
So it wasn't the market.
It wasn't the market.
Just the airport itself.
It was the runway here.
Getting the airport up to modern standards, would that make an impact on you resuming service up there?
Well, having a peace of mind of the ownership would certainly provide some confidence.
There you go.
But also another key part is making sure that feeling like the Navy is an important partner. They move a lot of people in and out of the area, and they're an important part of the equation to get a viable service.
What are some of the benefits to the local economy?
The aviation division, every 5 to 7 years, we do an economic impact study. And our last one was done in 2020, and it identified just with the activity of the A.J. Eisenberg Airport at that time, generated 13 million in annual economic impact to this area. Airports are huge economic engines for the communities. You may not always see it, but it's that person that's flying in for a meeting that otherwise would take them driving all day, that they're able to fly and have that meeting and conduct business.
Right.
There's a lot of businesses that can operate out of an airport. Flight training that is going to train the future commercial pilots.
Okay.
Restaurants that attract people to come to the airport.
Friday Harbor is most similar to us in terms of the size of their geographic space, their airport, their runways, similar in geography and size. Their runways about the same size and all. And I think it would be a similar development here at Oak Harbor. And I know the economic impact at Friday Harbor was certainly over 54 million. Benefits for the airport here, because there's many of them. There's increased tourism, business travel. That'll help many of the businesses that are trying to grow here on the island. Disaster relief even. There's healthcare. There's a fixed wing healthcare support. Even the helicopters would be supported here by having fuel available. Right now they have to fly to other airports or even back to Port Angeles. There's recreational airport, aviation-related businesses. Embry-Riddle could help train and transition mechanics from Navy mechanics to civilian mechanics in aircraft. Aerospace, freight, like UPS and FedEx, and of course connections to SeaTac. So the important point of all of that is that everyone on the island benefits from this economic development engine that is the airport. Not just the pilots that happen to have an airplane parked here,
Right.
or some rich people that fly their jets in Colorado, that brought in specialists, a whole plane load of specialists once a week.
Wow.
There's an ENT guy, a heart guy, a orthopedic guy,
Right.
and they'd book up appointments for these specialists that weren't part of these remote communities, and then at the end of the day, the doctors left, so it's an opportunity to bring in medical professionals. And all those people got to stay somewhere, they got to eat somewhere.
That's right.
They drive cars here, they buy gas here, they all contribute to the economy.
Economically, I believe that one of the biggest impacts is going to make it a lot easier for people to get to Whidbey Island. Just even for the sake of tourism or doing business. Are we starting to struggle with traffic and choke points to get people here?
Oh yeah, I mean, traffic during the summertime can certainly be a bear. It's called tourist season for a reason.
Right.
So I've worked at other flight schools off the island, and what I realized is there's no need for me to go off the island when there's enough demand for me to stay right here. So I started doing air tours and realized, oh my gosh, I can't keep up with the demand in the summer. I need more airplanes. This is great. I just love the experience of sharing the aviation with the community from near and far, both local. It has just been a wonderful opportunity, and I want to keep it going.
I know there's been a lot of talk about this airport project going on from the commission meeting that we had, etc. And from what I understand, you've had a pretty positive response from the public.
There has been, been an overwhelming response from the public. A couple of the main tenets of my service is affordability and livability. And it's pretty clear that, it doesn't take much vision to realize the economic vitality that comes out of the airport.
We have a $1 billion economy here with no functioning airport. Right. So that checks a box for both the FAA and the WSDOT. Now the important piece of all of this is the money doesn't come from the $1 million, $1.5 million, doesn't come from local funds. It's not local taxpayers that pay for this. These are funded by aviation operators. They come from aviation fuel tax revenue. That funds 85 to 95% of the program.
The port has made an offer on that airport, but we want to know, after we take title to it, what are some of the options that we will, and support we'll have from Warstadt Aviation?
Sure, John. So we have a couple good programs. We have our Airport Aid Grant Program, which funds airport infrastructure. Focus on runways, taxiways, pavement is a priority. So we have approximately $2 million a year in that program. Maximum grant amount is $750,000 per year.
Okay.
So there is a process for getting those funds. First thing, you would need an airport master plan and an airport layout plan, and from that process you develop a capital improvement list. We solicit applications for our grant program annually. See, another good program is our revolving loan program, the Commercial Aviation Revitalization Board, or CARB.
Right.
So that program, we offer loans for revenue generating projects up to a maximum of $1.2 million. So things like hangar construction, fuel systems, anything that would provide revenue generating opportunities for the airport.
Size of our project here is $1 to $1.5 million, and for both FAA and WashDOT, they're prioritized by infrastructure importance, such as runways. Well, runways are what we need.
I realize from WPPA there's about 35 other ports that own airports. How does that help those ports to work with WashDOT Aviation?
Yeah, I think the one benefit of public ownership is like ports have taxing authority, and it's much easier to sign off on grant assurances when you get grants or loans.
Okay.
So what do you think would happen if it doesn't become a public airport?
Well, it would remain as it is, a private ownership, which is private. So if you have a private airport, the person owning it can do whatever they want to, and they can say you can be on my airport, or you can fly in, or you cannot.
Right.
And they're in control. And it's not for the public, it's for a private person.
And the public has no real influence over how
None
things
whatsoever.
Right.
It is imperative that we keep this airport part of the Whidbey Island community and keep it public and open for everyone to enjoy.